Hello, Chevre. I hope you're all gesund, stark und freilich. Healthy, strong, and happy. Begashmis and beruchnis. Hashem should help that all those that need a refuah shalema should be healed immediately, and Hashem should stop the magefa now. Today we're going to continue on the theme that we discussed the last couple of days about Avas Reim, Avas Yisrael, and getting along with another. So, we'll start with a pasuk which is very interesting. And that pasuk is Sa'fim Sonesi v'Seiroscha Ahavti, which is translated in one translation, I despise vain thoughts, but I love your Torah. And another translation translates, I hate schemers and your Torah I love. In any case, Rashi says on the words Sa'fim Sonesi Choshvei machshavos oven. The word Sa'fim means those who think thoughts of iniquity. So what makes this pasuk very interesting is Sa'fim Sonesi. I hate schemers, the ones who think the thoughts. It reminded me of when I once went to New York. I once visited New York, and I was walking along Eastern Parkway, and next to a driveway there was a big sign which said, "Don't even think about parking here." So I thought, wow, not only are they telling me I can't park there, they're telling me don't even think about parking here. So the sin is even thinking about it. So here, when we talk about Judaism, this is a big subject and discussion, and it's central, fundamental, and that is that there are commandments that reflect and are connected to a man's actions, dibur and ma'aseh, let's say, to keep it simple. And then there's what's called chayvus halvavos, obligations of the heart. So, for example, last week we had a classic example, which is a tremendous mitzvah, one of the 613, and that was the issur, the prohibition of loy sitor. So there's one prohibition of loy sikaim, you're not allowed to take revenge, and there's another one, loy sitor, you're not allowed to bear a grudge. That's a whole different world. It's not only about not taking revenge, it's if you feel a grievance or you bear a grudge, you now transgressed a deraisa, a biblical commandment. So I'm not getting into the details of that commandment right now. I just want to bring it as an example. You can't compare doing an action, which not necessarily reflects your nature, your enthusiasm, your spirit, your drive. It's just, do this, fine, I'll do it. Makes you happy, I'll do it. But then there's something else. We're talking about inside, your psyche, your personality. And we're commanding you to feel a certain way. Okay, so this is what the pasuk says over here. Sa'fim Sonesi, I hate schemers, the machshavos, the thoughts itself is the problem. So now we come to the Avoda that we're in these days, the Avoda of Sefiras Ha'omer. As we know, it's about working on our character traits, 7 times 7. We recently had an Hayom Yom of the 10th of Iyar. He brings the famous Torah that the Alter Rebbe repeated, and that was on the words Usvartem lochem, which is from this week's Parsha, which even emphasizes even more how we have to focus on this. It's unusual that in the Parsha of the week, we also have something which is reflecting the dates on the calendar and the time that we're in right now. So the pasuk says, "Usvartem lachem," and the Alter Rebbe said, "Usvartem mloshen sapiros uvehiros." It means to shine, to illuminate. "Usvartem lachem tzrichem lasei sheyeh halachem boher," which means take yourself and make it shine. Usvartem, count, could also be connected to sapir, which is sapphire. Make yourself luminous. This is similar to, just to make it very clear, there was once a new bacher, student who came to the yeshiva in Lubavitch 125 years ago. And in this town of Lubavitch, so this newbie, this freshman, it came Friday. It was the first Friday that he was there in that new yeshiva, and he was polishing his shoes, the covered Shabbos. So his roommate was more of a senior, had been in Lubavitch for a while. He walked into the room and he saw this young student, the newbie, polishing his shoes. So he says, what are you doing? He says, I'm polishing my shoes, L'Kavod Shabbos. So the older Bacha told him, in Lubavitch, over here, we don't polish our shoes, we polish our minds. So it's a beautiful statement. So when we look at a person and we talk about change and development and growth, so there's one way to emphasize and stress actions, rules, regulations, rituals. That's one area, plain conduct, behavior. Then there's a deep area, like we said before, chayvus alvavos. We're talking about the mind and the heart. Pay attention to that. Examine your motives. Examine your psyche. Examine your personality, etc. And this is very important, obviously, in life. That explains a lot about, you could be a person that puts on tefillin every day and davens at length. But you know what? When somebody criticizes you, all of a sudden you become enraged. Who is he to criticize me? And you take it personal. And your ego is touched, etc. Why? You're putting on tefillin for 50 years. You're working on yourself. No, the answer is you really didn't work on that aspect of your ego. It was overlooked. It was ignored. So there's a story of the Rebbe Maharash, which is also one of my favorite stories of all time. And there's another story with him which is similar, but I'll just say this one. And that is a chassid once came to the Rebbe Maharash and he was bemoaning that he's a bal tachbulas. He's a schemer. In Australia there's a word we say dodgy. He was a dodgy character. Crooked, sly, deceiving. Jeder Zach und jeder Inyan nennt bar mumis. Everything by him is just dodgy, crooked. So the Rebbe Maharash told him he should fast 600 fasts. The chassid looked at the Rebbe Maharash and was very surprised and wondered, what? This is like not the Hasidic prescription. And it was very unusual. What's 600 fasts? So the Rebbe Maharash told him, what do you think I meant when I said fasting? I didn't mean not to eat. That's just going on a diet. What I meant is hard work. And he said, tracht alle Tag 15 Minuten, deite de nafshe wegen sich. Think 15 minutes every single day about yourself. Blum picha meladaber. Don't talk. Just go on and talking when you just want to talk. And nit machshavas dach, I don't want you to think thoughts on Hasidic concepts. Nor poshe trachten wegen sich. Simply think about yourself. And 2 years passed, and this chassid became a different person completely. And the Rebbe Rashab, the son of the Rebbe Maharash, when he told over the story to the Frierdiker Rebbe, he said not only did he change in his faculties, but from essence to essence. When you would see him, you'd be very impressed how he changed. And then the Frierdiker Rebbe finished the story, and I don't know come out anywhere else in all of Hasidic Chabad literature where it says this. In Gemara da Ursprach zoi meres. In Gemara there's an expression that from this we learn, from this we see. From dem Sipper kem sich heraus nehmen. From this story we could derive as jeder darf trachten alle Tag 15 Minuten wegen sich. That every single person has to think about himself for 15 minutes every day, seriously. Like, who am I? What type of person I am? So this is what we mean when we say Avoda Pnimius and Osvartem Lachem, take your Lachem, your personality, and think about it. Examine your motives, as we said before. Examine your personality. Are you generous? Are you giving? How's your ego? Look inside yourself. And obviously in the situation that we're in now, in isolation, this is exactly what the doctor ordered, the Rabbeim, our masters ordered. Take time to look into yourself. 15 minutes a day, seriously. And you become a completely changed person. And obviously how you deal with others will become completely changed also. The Eibusher should help. We should take these words, as he says himself, Zoisei Meres, and apply it. And this will definitely help to bring Mashiach now. Posting from my home, Be'ez Hashem Yisborech, your man in Melbourne.